And that is what is hitting Zenimax. So let's start with this. Zenimax Online has lost an estimated 213 employees, and Zenimax Media has lost 166. That is insane. For Zenimax Online, that is like half the studio.
Yeah. It's too many.
ESO, this is pretty much going to kill ESO. I'm going to put it that way.
I mean, but doesn't that game make them like a ton of money every year? Like,
I don't know how much ESO makes, so I don't want to speak to it. Again, I think this is a case of somebody looking at a spreadsheet and going, how do we have all these ongoing games and we're not making more money? Consolidate, force them to get Elder Scrolls 6 out the door.
Yeah.
I have to think that is part of what's happening here. I think they're looking at this and going, this does not make us as much money as WoW. Why are we continuing to invest in this? Same with 76.
Mm-hmm.
Because Bethesda in Austin, from what I heard, lost 20-something employees. And I believe that's the main Bethesda branch that is still working on 76 at this point. They've outsourced a lot of it. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
I have to imagine that part of this is also from Blackbird getting canceled last year.
Mm-hmm.
Which, again, like if that game had, gone beyond the conceptual phase a couple of years ago, maybe we'd be telling a different story here. But like, as much as I love Phil and Sarah, they clearly had too loose of a rein on these studios. Now I think it's just the exact opposite. Now I think you're just being a hard ass for the sake of being a hard ass. It's like Satya being like, you will respect my authority on this. I am the boss, not them. That's what this feels like. This feels like a power trip right now from people who don't understand video games. So, and there is some truth. Like, your development timeline should not take that long. But like, Blackbird was probably put into like pre-pro and pitched when always online games were the rage. There was no answer to Destiny. There still isn't. But it was when Destiny was big, The Division was big, Warframe was going strong. Like, it was pitched in that era. And yeah, it could have been something really unique from everything that we've heard. Like, people who've seen the footage are like, oh, it looked great. Like, awesome. Like, why couldn't they get more than a vertical slice going? That's the ultimate problem here. So id puts this out, and it just, this is a catastrophe. You have that. Id apparently had 185 developers, 136 of them have now been laid off. At id Software, the studio we thought was always going to be fucking safe.
Yeah, I mean, for id Tech alone, we thought that Halo might even move to id Tech at one point.
They did it the night before the expansion for Dark Ages came out.
I know. That's
fucking low. That's fucking low.
Yeah.
Like, that is enough to make that essentially a support studio. They cannot make their own games anymore.
Right.
And I don't understand why you would be doing this to id of all studios. And then in the same breath put out in a press release, we're focusing on our core franchises. And they list things like Halo, Gears, Forza, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, Doom, and Quake.
Yeah.
Quake. You're saying Quake? Like, I'm saying at this, or excuse me, it was for the Zenimax stuff in particular. They said we're focusing on Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Doom, Quake, and Wolfenstein.
Is Quake Champions making them that much money that they?
I don't think so, dude. It just keeps leading me to believe that Machine Games has secretly been working on Quake.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously not id now.
It's obviously not id. That was insane.